Hi guys, and thank you for joining me back here again for another episode of the 401 Files. On this episode, I'm joined by guests Josh and Paul, who roughly 2 years ago, while still at school and studying for their GCSEs, had a very strange set of experiences that would seem to fall under the banner of the paranormal. These experiences would undoubtedly change their minds on the paranormal and the afterlife forevermore. Sit back guys, grab yourself a coffee, relax, and enjoy this one. Hey, Paul, you alright?
Yeah, you're alright, Ben?
Yeah, good mate, good.
Fine, man. Good.
I put myself in a little bunker, can you see that?
Yeah, that's boss, that. Is that like the junior one you had previously?
Yeah.
In the other episode? Yeah.
I think Josh is connecting now. Hey, Josh, you alright?
There we go, unmuted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Alright.
Yeah,
nice
good,
backdrop.
I know, yeah, we were just saying there. Seems relevant for the times, doesn't it, in lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, guys, I don't know what happened with that last bit of footage that we did, because for anyone that's watching this now, we've already done this, me, Paul, and Josh. But when I played the audio back, well, the file was like an hour and something long, but the audio cut out after about 10 minutes. I don't know what happened, so a bit of a nightmare.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
Right, so guys, let's jump straight back into this, okay? So, Paul, you contacted me on, where was it? You contacted me, was it Facebook?
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram, about an experience that you had while you was studying your GCSEs, like around that time at school.
Yeah.
And basically, this experience is a paranormal experience that took place in a building called the Mad Block, which stands for Music and Drama. Is that right?
Music, art, and drama.
Music, art, and drama. Sorry, yeah, that's right. So, who wants to jump in first? Who wants to start the story off?
Go on, Paul.
Yeah, sounds. So, about nearly 2 years ago now, wasn't it, Josh?
Yeah.
We were doing our GCSEs, like you said, Ben, and we come into revise usually in the mornings, and we come in one morning for science, a bit earlier than usual, probably about at like an hour and a half. Yeah, literally an hour and a half before we're supposed to actually start school. And the tutor didn't turn up, so we, instead of sitting there for an hour and a half, we thought we'll float about the yard and stuff. And we noticed the Mad Block was open, which is usually like shut till quite like late. And so we thought we'll go in since it's a bit unusual. And there's like the main building, and then it's got two wings attached to it, cut-offs. And on the right is the music wing, or the music block. And we went down there, but all the shutters on the outside, they've got shutters on them, like diamond windows, and it's like pitch black, there's nothing that lights it off. So it's pitch black, you can't see like 5 feet in front of you. And because we're not meant to be there anyway, you know, we're bored an hour and a half to do nothing. We thought we'll go down this corridor, this hallway. And we go down, but because the teachers lock up overnight, all the doors are shut except for one. And it's Stan's room, this music teacher. So we open the door and we go in, and then it's all pitch black and that. And we're having a little look about. And next to the teacher's desk, as you go in on the right, is this like cabinet, it's like a hollow, thin sheet metal cabinet that holds like books and all like files and stuff. And basically it's like dead thin, so the lightest touch and it just makes like the loudest noise. So Josh is in front of me, and we've walked past the teacher's desk and then the cabinet's next to the desk. And just as we've passed this thing, this like cabinet, it's just on me right here, we hear this massive bang on it. So like both jump out our skin.
Attacks it.
Yeah, attacks.
What do you think that could have been? Like, is there any logical explanation for that, or is it just like there's no reason, right? From what you've described this cabinet as,
the noise out of the bang, there was nothing. It was shut and everything. It made no sense. But like, it was not as if there was something inside the cupboard either. Yeah. It was all just books and files. It was shut. No one was there. It was pitch black, and it was like someone proper slammed it. And then we just ran them.
Yeah, we ran out the class, and then we come out the Mad Block, and we're like hyping each other up, like, oh my God, what was that? Like, it weren't any of us because we were looking at each other and it was right next to me there.
Yeah.
And I panicked and ate it, and then obviously we just sprinted out and left. So we thought, we've got revision the next day as well, so we might as well just come in about the same time while we're waiting for it.
Is this the next day after? Is it the day after? Yeah.
And we come in, and same again, that door's open. Stan must leave his door. This teacher, he must not lock it overnight, and because all the others are locked. Well. So we go back into his classroom, pitch black. Same again, shutters are down, lights are off, so it's like pitch black. The corridor, the hallway, that's all lights off, pitch black. And there's 2 proper main classrooms either side of the corridor in the music block, and they've got little rooms that connect each classroom. And in Stan's room is little room that connects to the next classroom across. That door was open, and so we thought we can't get into the next classroom because it's locked from the hallway. So if we go through Stan's room and this little room into the next classroom, we'll go through. So his one's open, like left open, like wide open, and the other one's shut, but it's unlocked. So we open it, we go through, and it's pitch black in there. Same thing again, except for the little whiteboard, like, you know, the smart boards, and it's flashing like flickering red because the system's still on. And we walk towards the desk on the far side, and we start hearing light switches going on and off, like from the computers, like behind the computers. And it was so creepy. It was just dun, 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 on and off.
Yeah, like when we last spoke, you guys said that these switches were like plug socket switches.
Yeah.
And there was some kind of like a pattern to the way that they was turning on and off as well, which was
it was. Because there was a few scattered across the room.
Yeah,
are you gonna do it now, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know how to flip this one there. Oh yeah, so
yeah, exactly like that.
But lots of different ones doing the same thing.
Yeah, the exact same time and same, like, it's scary. So after the previous day, we think, oh my God, what's going on? So we run back out of this classroom and back into Stan's, the main one we come in from.
Yeah.
And his door was open, you know, the little side door was open because that's how we got into the second classroom. But that was shut. We didn't think anything of it at the time, so we opened it. So instead of opening one door and going through, we had to open 2 to get into the next classroom. As we go in, the main door that comes into Stan's room, big like fire door, was wild on its hinges, like as far as it could go, scraped against the carpet onto like new untread carpet. You know, where the old carpet's been a bit ripped up and trampled on. It was far back, and we
is that the door that you just previously come through?
Yeah.
And so when you first came through, that door wasn't pushed open as wide as that at all?
No, because we come in, and I think Josh went in first, and I come in second, and we open it, and then literally opened it a little bit and just went through and let it go because the fire door shut on their own. Yeah. And we seen it shut, heard it shut behind me because I didn't come in and open it right out against the...
it wouldn't make sense.
We didn't want to make sure it was wide open.
Yeah, it wasn't like a precaution or anything. So we come back through after them switches and we're like, oh my God, this door's open. What is going on? And because of the previous day and the switches, you don't think like a person could have done that. You think something else in there because your head's all over the place.
And the thing is as well, like when you moved into that room, like I can't imagine the room is that big that you wouldn't have noticed someone behind you trying to open that door, pushing it that hard against the... Do you know what I mean? You would have noticed, wouldn't you? You'd have turned around and been like, hang on a minute, what are you doing? Like,
exactly. Pitch black as well. It would have been for if someone was around, you just see it. You just know.
You see, I would have absolutely crapped myself the minute I turned around and see that door push as wide as that, because that's just not a natural movement. You don't walk into a room and wedge the door open that far, especially a fire door. So.
Exactly, that's the thing, isn't it? So it's unnatural.
And we saw it was that wedged open, didn't we, Paul? And then we went back into the other room that we were previously in, where all the light switches were going on and off. We thought, like, let's just sit here for like 5 minutes and just see if anything more happens. and then we heard a bang. We're like, what was that?
Massive slam.
What was that, mate? So we went back into the other room, and that door that was right on its hinges was slammed shut. And we were like, no way. Ran down the corridor, seeing if anyone's there, seeing if any teachers there. All staff room, pitch black, no one, absolutely no one. And that's
only people in the building. Yeah.
You see, that in itself is creepy, because, like we've just said there, if the fire door's pushed right on its hinges, right back, for that door to slam under its own weight would be very, very hard.
Yeah.
It's the type of door, when you shut it, and if you're trying to force it shut quicker than it goes, it gives like tension. So if you try and force it shut, it'll like, what you're saying. It'll be dead jittery or slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go on, Paul.
With these doors, you can just slam them. You know, with like normal like kitchen doors, you can slam them with them. It's like it's stiff. It won't just.
Yeah, that's a great explanation, Paul. I know what you're saying. I've seen them doors myself. It's got like it's got a slow closing hinge at the top, hasn't it? And the quicker you try and close it, the slower it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when these switches, sorry, go on, Josh.
After we left, and went to check if anyone else was there, we then went back and tested that on the door and seen like how much force it would have taken, and it was quite a lot. And then obviously we left again, and that's where you get the footage of us leaving for the final time.
Okay guys, so sorry to interrupt through this conversation. I just want to bring you all up to speed really quickly, just to give you an insight as to what's happened and where we are in the story. So Josh and Paul are at school. They're studying for their GCSEs, and they turn up about an hour early for these revisions. As they've got a bit of time to kill, they decide to go into this block that's normally closed, called the Mad Block. It stands for Music, Art and Drama. Now the Mad Block has little tiny windows with shutters on that makes this whole entire building completely pitch black inside. Josh and Paul make their way into this block, and they start to make their way through these different rooms. And when they're in these rooms, they start to hear a loud bang, or there's a loud bang as they're making their way through. And then plug socket switches, which need a physical touch from a person to flip up and down, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, they start switching up and down all by themselves. And not just one plug socket, but there's many from all around the room doing the same thing. Paul and Josh leave the building, they run out, freaked out, and the next day they return, and as they make their way through into one room that was closed via a side door that links the two rooms together, the fire door is pushed wide open onto a newly laid carpet. Now you guys know yourself how heavy and how hard it is to budge a fire door, because the whole purpose of a fire door is that it closes and opens pretty slowly, just in case of a fire. Now, as you've just heard me and Paul in conversation there, these fire doors are attached with a slow release hinge, which basically means that the harder you try and slam that door, the slower this door will move against its own weight. So to slam one of these things would be near on impossible, but they hear this big slam, they turn around, and that fire door is now closed completely shut. So basically what happens now is Paul and Josh completely freak out, as I'm sure many people would in this situation, but then later on manage to make contact with the school's caretaker. In conversation, they start mentioning some of the creepy things that happened, asking the question, has he ever experienced anything himself? Funnily enough, the school caretaker manages to bring up some CCTV footage to try and see if these guys, Josh and Paul, were lying, and what he finds is quite creepy. Now, I've never been a huge believer in orbs and weird lights connected to the paranormal. However, some of these orbs and some of these lights do fascinate me. Now, is this some kind of energy from the spiritual world? Is this some kind of remnants of a person that once was? Who really knows? What I do find strange is that all these things were happening to Josh and Paul, and moments after they leave the building in fear, this orb appears through one side of the wall and seems to head towards the door. Now, we could say this was an insect, but my question there is where are all the other insects? We could say this is a rat, which some people have, but then my question to that is, why is this rat flying? Why is this rat white? And why did it wait for them to pass in the corridor before scurrying along? It's definitely not a rat. Unlikely that it's an insect. What it is, I really don't know. But it's interesting. Like I said, I've never really been a big believer in orbs, and I'm still on the fence, but I know that many of you people are, so I thought I'd share this. It's been a great story so far. Enjoy the rest. Yeah.
And then that was the orb coming out of the wall of the room that we were just in. And then that was
absolutely creepy. It's almost like this spirit that was playing these tricks or these games on you had waited for you to have left, and then obviously unbeknown to the spirit, it's being picked up by a camera or whatever. So when these switches are going on and off, what are you guys like doing? What's your reaction? Like, you just stood there quietly trying to figure this out, or
like looking at each other going, oh my god, because like for reassurance, like, I'm not crazy, you're seeing this as well, and you're hearing this, and it's just like, it was just what, there's no one here, it takes an actual person to switch them on and off, there's no one here,
and the room itself is so strange because it seems so stable. It's so like creaky, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah, but
then the switches was the most obvious, like, what is going on moment, definitely.
Yeah, did you guys feel anything like a presence or an atmosphere when you were in there moving around?
That's funny you say that, because after the second day we come in, after hearing that, boom, you walk in. Yeah, even the first day coming in before the Big Bang, there was that sense of like something, because you're not meant to be there. And you're more assertive. You're more like,
and it's pitch black, so you're like that about everything. And it did feel like we went on our own. Like, I don't know if that's just a natural thing, but it definitely didn't feel like we were
definitely the second day.
I'm going to attach that CCTV footage as well, because there's a lot of people here on my channel as well that are really interested in like orbs and things like that. So it'll be interesting just to see like what the reaction is. But like I said to you guys, I don't think it's definitely not a rat, because a rat just wouldn't glow white. Do you know what I mean? The theories that people have come forward to you guys with, I just can't think of it being any of those things.
When you zoom in and like you play it and you go across with it, you can literally see it's like a cloud of. It's not like a physical animal.
It's like there's the main ball of light. When you slow it down and zoom in, it's the main ball of light moving across, and behind it leaves like a trail, like a plane, like what a plane does, where it leaves the trails behind it. That's what it was like. But there's the main ball of light, and it doesn't go across the floor, and it's quite evident it's not a fly. I don't know if a night vision camera will be able to even pick that up, but it comes straight out the wall and flies across, nowhere like on the floor into the other side of the corridor.
The caretaker, I was going to say then, the caretaker, when he showed us the footage, we were filming the big smartboard as he was playing it, and as we walked past it, he slowed down the footage, and if you've seen the video, Ben, that thing still comes out the wall fast, and that's slowed down. So I don't know what it looks like at full speed, but
no, same. So he slowed it right down for us, didn't he? Because we wouldn't have been able to straight up with that possible.
And we was talking about it before, weren't we? About this this mad block, this music and drama block, has got some history on it, because like caretakers and other people have had experiences there. Like teachers have complained about strange smells, like the smell of smoke, fire, things like that. And we were saying before that like, it's just weird that there was some kind of interaction with a fire door. Then there was electrical switches being turned on and off. Teachers that work there have complained about the smell of smoke. And I put it forward to you guys that maybe if there is a spirit there, it was something to do with some kind of an electrical fire. So it's super interesting, and I just really can't wait to get this video up with the footage and stuff.
Yeah, I do think orbs are like a real thing when it comes to like energy and how energy can't.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of fakes out there, like on Facebook, and there's like a lot of people just posting stupid pictures of orbs that can clearly be like explained away. But as we spoke about before when we last did this chat, is that light for the human body is made up of energy, and if the energy that we're made up of has to abide by the same rules as every other force of energy, it means that we can't be destroyed. We can only be transferred into something else. And so that makes me think, like, when I do see these orbs and things like that, is there something to it? Like, is that part of the spirit world? Is this what ghosts or we end up being? Like, it's really weird.
I guess the biggest question is, like, whether that energy is conscious still, like we are now.
Yeah. That'd be a really, like, creepy thing.
That's creepy.
Yeah, because, like, if you think about it, like, a ball of light shouldn't have any interaction with the physical world. It's got no arms, no legs, no. So how is it doing this? Like, it's such a bizarre bizarre thing.
Like to think of a ball of light having consciousness. It's just terrifying, isn't it?
Being aware of that.
Yeah.
It's so strange when you start going down the rabbit hole, isn't it, of what it could be, how it works.
Yeah.
But it's like I said to you guys before as well, is that like when we spoke about like ghosts and entities having like some kind of consciousness, in the Enfield poltergeist case, the ghost that I spoke to you guys there, this was a voice that was coming through this 13-year-old girl. It wasn't physical. I mean, it wasn't visible. You couldn't visibly see this thing, but yeah, it knew all about its surroundings. It knew who it was, who was in the house. It knew everything. It's such a strange, I don't know. It really scares me when I think about that.
Like maintaining the exact same consciousness.
Yeah, like how can something... Yeah, that's it. Like how can something that we don't see, we can't interact with it like physically, how does it know everything about our world and like what's going on in this world? It's such a weird thing.
Yeah.
Because I assume that like the way that we're led to believe through science is that you die, you lose all consciousness, the brain stops working.
Yeah.
But when you start talking about these things, it kind of counteracts that, doesn't it? It's weird.
Because as well, because me and Paul over the past nearly 2 years have told like the story so many times, it felt like it was starting to lose a bit of weight. But after we spoke to you last week, I remember like the day after, it like hit us again. Like that actually happened. Like we felt a bit uneasy about it again, like we did back then. Because I was waking up in the middle of the night. We felt like really uneasy, like couldn't sleep properly and stuff. But it hit us again the other week, because I think when you do tell the story more, and you sort of like forget, wow, that actually happened. But we have properly like rediscovered that recently.
It's like me though, with my experience. I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but I had this creepy experience. Well, it wasn't even an experience. It was like an encounter where when I was younger, I seen this green creature, and for a long time, it took me the longest time to call it a reptilian, because I didn't want to look like I was crazy. And even now, I can't say whether it was or it wasn't. All I have to go off is that I saw this creature on two legs with long arms and a small head walking through the woods in the middle of nowhere, completely green from head to toe. And like you said there, Josh, over the years, there's been periods where I've started to think maybe it was just like a false memory. Maybe like this didn't happen, and I've imagined
it. Playing tricks on yourself.
Yeah.
You question your memory, innit?
That's it. And I've had many of these times where I've started to question myself, but deep down, not even deep down, like I just know 100% that happened. I can tell you the weather that day. I can tell you if it was warm, cold. I can tell you what was growing on the forest floor, what plants they were. It was so vivid that there's no way that this was just made up as a false memory. And like, if it was, then where are all my other false memories? Like, why just specifically this one incident? It makes no sense. It was almost like I believe that whatever it was that I saw had some way of making me forget. I know that sounds really weird, but for the longest time, I didn't remember this incident. It was only when I got into my mid-20s, it came back to me like it just happened yesterday. And I was like, oh shit, like that really happened. Like, and then it was like I'd never not forgot it. It's so weird. I can't explain what
it was always there, but in the back of your
like I'd never brought it up. I'd never spoke about it. I'd never brought it up in conversation or looked it up in books or anything. And then all of a sudden it was like I'd never forgot it. So it goes from one extreme to the other. So I start thinking like, I wonder if this thing, whatever it was, somehow had the capability of making me forget. And then over time,
it just wore off.
That's it. Over time, it's worn off and it's all come back to me. I mean, this happens in abduction cases. People do forget.
Yeah.
It's a bit
years later, remember.
Yeah.
Hypnotherapy and stuff, innit? To go to remember.
It's like whatever they might do to the memory, only as a certain amount of time, and it sort of works.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we use when we put people to sleep. We use like that drug, I can't remember the name of it now, but we put people to sleep with it. And anesthetic, that's the one. Yeah. And over a period of time, it wears off, doesn't it? Maybe it's similar. But yeah, it is. It's fascinating when you think about these things. Like I said, going down the rabbit hole just leads this one thing of this orb and these noises and things that you've experienced now probably leave you guys with like a million more questions.
Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%. Because it's one of them things where too many things happen at the right times for it to all just be coincidences and
leave.
and then seconds later, that comes out of the wall of the room that everything's just happened in. It's like you've got to weigh it up, haven't you? Like,
that's right. And even if you take one of the elements away, it still doesn't like explain itself away. Like, so if you take away the fact that the orb came through the wall just minutes after you'd left, you still have the switches flipping up and down. You still have the door wedged wide open. And then if you take any of them two away, you still got this weird orb coming through the wall minutes after you left. So it's a strange situation. And I truly do believe in the paranormal. Like, I've had tons of experiences with it. But it's just, how far does it go? Like, what are the elements of the paranormal? Do you know what I mean? Like, because if there's a ghost, so this is what I always think. If there's a ghost, why is he or she still here, but then hundreds or millions of other people have moved on to somewhere else? Like, what is what's the deciding factors that...
to be earthbound or something. That's I don't get it.
Like, there's the theory that some get stuck, like, while crossing over to like the other life, and they're the ones who are like spirits and orbs and things. But if it was everybody that died stayed on Earth and was a ghost, then there'd be a lot more, wouldn't there? There'd be everywhere. So there must be only a small amount. It's strange, isn't it?
And then you can sorry, Paul, go on.
Sorry, go on. I was going to say, or maybe there's only a few that can manipulate our world. I don't know. Just a random theory.
Or maybe like it's something to do with how quick you died. Like, if you die a sudden death that was completely unexpected, you wasn't aware it was going to happen. Maybe that's just, it happened so quick that the transition from this world to that world doesn't have time to react, and you do, like Josh says, get stuck. You know what I mean? I mean, if you get hit by a car, like, there's no time at all for that transition to take place. It's kind of like, shit,
that's scary.
I'm now stuck in this world, and that'd be the worst case scenario, like stuck in limbo, where you can see everything and hear everything, but no one can see you. Because
they do tend to be like angry, a lot of them, like when they're making them bangs and slamming doors shut. Yeah, that is like that. Me and Paul took it as like, get out sort of thing. That's how we took it. So we just left. We didn't feel like coming back.
I've thought about this quite a lot, right? And because I've experienced the paranormal myself, like I've said to you guys, growing up, and there was a lot of bangs, there was a lot of things thrown about. And like Josh just said there, it always seems like they're really angry, right? And then I started to think about this, and I thought, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not angry at all. Maybe they're more frustrated. Because if you're in a world, you're in a world and you can see everyone, you can hear everything that they're saying, but you've got no way of interacting with them. The only thing that you could think of would be to slam a door to get their attention, or be to, do you know what I mean, make a strange noise that gets their attention on you. Beyond that, there's no other way that you can say, look, guys, I'm here.
Especially if you're like around like your loved ones as well.
That's it.
You want them to know you're there, and you just can't. So you do these things, but it must be so frustrating for that entity. If like the family or the people are just scared of them and just run away.
And don't get me wrong, like I say that it sounds like more frustration, but there is definitely like entities out there that are evil, I think, because some of that frustration gets turned onto people. We've seen videos or we've heard stories where people have had different things thrown at them, and that goes beyond frustration at that point. So I don't ever like deny the fact that they could be evil entities as well. I think the one where I was living was, I don't know if it was like mischievous or evil or what, but it did some really creepy stuff, to the point where it almost felt like it was playing a game with us. Like, you know, I mean, if you're a spirit, there's things that this spirit did in our house that you just wouldn't do because it would be obvious that it would scare people. Do you know what I mean? But it did it. So I don't know what that was about. Creepy.
Wanted the reaction or something.
That's it, exactly.
And it's undeniable, isn't it? Me and Paul were discussing this yesterday. A lot of people say, oh, well, if there is an afterlife, then you'll never know about it. But what we were saying is, isn't that terrifying? Even though we'd never know if it was just black, like that's it. That's such a terrifying thought that it is just not, well, to me anyway, I feel like that is terrifying, the thought of us that big.
And we was talking earlier about like why some people get to cross over and some people get stuck here. And another question or another part of that is, those that do pass over, where are they all going? Like, imagine how many millions of people that have come on this planet and gone and like left forever. Where have they gone? If they all pass over, it's just insane.
Yeah,
but so guys, anyway, we're gonna have to wrap it up soon. I've got like 8 minutes left. It's only given me 40 minutes on this Zoom call, but it's been awesome to have you both back on again and retell this story. And hopefully the audio is recorded on this one. If not, I'm just going to drive to Liverpool and have this sit-down conversation with you.
Yeah.
But so yeah, guys, Josh, Paul, opinions, final thoughts. Do you think that what you experienced was the paranormal?
Definitely, undeniably.
Yeah. If I had to bet my life on it today, I will.
Yeah, I'd die tomorrow if it was fake. It's definitely real.
Paul, Josh, thank you so much once again for coming on and chatting to me. It's been amazing.
Coming on.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that we had to do this like 2 times. The first time the audio didn't record, but again, it's been an absolute pleasure. So you guys take it easy. Look after
you too.
And we'll back in touch again anyway, Paul, on Instagram. Josh, if you are on Instagram, add me on there as well, mate.
No, will do.
Awesome.
All right, good to speak to you.
Yeah, see you.
Nice one, Ben.
Take it easy.